Hi and welcome to the Journal of a Marketing Agency.
Listen in as we chat about challenges we faced,
Insights into the latest marketing topics,
and thoughts on productivity and growth.
Where are we now? May? April. So, where do you think the big pinch points are in a minute or so?
Well,
We need to be closer for a start to our mics.
I think I think this week of all weeks, we have to talk about iOS14 and the opt-in, opt-out option that...
Yeah, and is it definitively this week? Because it's been rumoured for such a long time.
Well, the rumour is today,
Okay.
the 27th of April, but no one really knows. No one really knows a lot about this. Or there's a lot of people that don't really know about this, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think that's the point, isn't it? Because is it a good or bad thing? Is the starting point. I mean, I, for one, we work in marketing, so having access to data that helps us market to people is what helps us do our jobs. I get that. But we're going to get marketed to anyway. So isn't it not better to have
Be
ads
targeted.
to things that I'm interested in? Because I can see the new normal being feeds just full of spam-esque content. I'd rather, if I show an interest in, not sure if you can see, if you listen to it, you can't see this new Samsung phone as an example. I was shown more about that phone because I'd shown some interest in it, and suddenly I'm shown videos of, I don't know, sunglasses, which I've probably got no interest in at all.
Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know, this is the opt-in choice, opt-in or opt-out choice that Apple are going to be delivering onto iOS devices.
Yep.
That includes iPads as well, and so it's the big focus is on apps. And apps being able to share data with third-party sources, i.e. advertisers, but it also affects the web and particularly affects Facebook advertising.
Yeah, of course.
And like you say, the focus on this kind of advertising for small businesses really helps them. Because when you're a small business, you can't afford to do massive campaigns with celebrities and display advertising and billboards and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you have to, that's where digital advertising, social media has been absolutely fantastic for small businesses, and that's the argument.
Yeah, and I guess it's local businesses even more so.
Yeah.
If you're a small local business and your customer is small in terms of its not only geographically is a small base, it's going to be so difficult for these people going forward.
The bigger brands actually, I don't think are going to feel too much damage, because I think again, budgets are so much bigger. They've got so many channels that they're putting their advertising into that this is going to be an inconvenience for them, but it's not going to be a deal breaker. No. And like you say, we get advertised to through billboards and things by those guys that they don't know what we're into, what we're looking at. You just see a billboard; it's just a general catch-all billboard display. This kind of targeted advertising for smaller businesses, it has been amazing, and for that to potentially go away, and people still don't know how many people are going to opt in or opt out.
Yeah, that's true.
So no one really knows the gravity of the change, but people are assuming that if you're given the choice, do I want my information shared with third-party advertisers, yes or no? The assumption is a lot of people will go, no.
And do we know the wording that's going to be used yet? Because I think that's quite pivotal in terms of if it's saying, as you just said it, that I bet, no, God no. Would you prefer that advertising you're shown is more tailored to you? Maybe yes. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the question. We don't know what that's going to be exactly yet.
And I have seen examples of both, just in kind of cookie warnings on websites and things, where people clearly are thinking, let me try and put a positive spin on this. Let me try and say it's tailored advertising. It's something that's more relevant to you. I think from what I've been reading that it is going to be the former, what I was saying earlier. You know, do you want to share your information? Do you want third-party advertisers to see
It's
your
really
website?
difficult because I think the intentions are good. I think data protection is a massively important topic. I think that it's been abused, as we can see with Facebook scandals and all sorts of things, people's data being sold. I think it's just about, well, where you are doing marketing, it's just going to have to change how you think about your digital marketing. It's nowhere near as simple as it used to be. You can't just retarget someone who's visited your website anymore, potentially. I think, what do you think needs to be put in place to mitigate it? I know we've already done, for our clients, we've already done certain things to mitigate it again with the recommendations of platforms like Facebook.
On the Facebook side, they've already gone ahead and put things in place to try and capitalize on the data that they've already got, that you as an advertiser have already got, and to be honest, it sounds like guesswork. They're setting up a limited number of events. They're looking into past data, so kind of events on your website that may happen from somebody clicking on an advert or a link or something like that, are now aggregated. So the information, so a product view or an add to cart or even a purchase, it can't be tailored right down to this person added this product to cart, but then left. So I'm going to retarget that person because I know exactly what they did.
Yeah.
It's now got to kind of chuck it into a pot and stir it all up and kind of say, all right, kind of the law of averages says that this person might have done this on your website, or this person may not have gone through checkout or something like that. And so everything's going to get a lot more fluffy. That's ultimately what it is. Facebook are saying that they're going to be looking into past data, looking into trends and all those kind of things, that all the information they've got so far, which obviously is an incredible amount of information, but behaviours are going to change. These kind of opt-in, opt-out things will change people's behaviour, will make people more savvy about.
Yeah. I think with the big thing for me is the importance for people to be in control of the data more. Yeah. So as a business, suddenly and it always should have been important, but your own email list is now more critical than ever. It's still, email is still the only digital marketing platform where you present it, it gets to that person. And you can know if that person opened it. That's the only form of digital marketing that still does that. Yeah. Everything else, it's reach, it's engagement, it's being shown this many impressions. I think email is going to be rejuvenated. I think email's become a bit like advertising. People don't used to have an email in your inbox, you read it. I mean, that's gone away. I think, but what it's gonna do is mean your email list is more important than ever. How you engage with your customers and email is gonna be important than ever. And I think and analysing that, I think for me, email is gonna be critical, and also your top of funnel, your initial awareness-based advertising has to be. It can't be lazy anymore. I think people maybe got a bit lazy with we'll just throw some ad creatives out and see what happens. Your top funnel, your first time someone's seeing your product, has to be better now, to the point where you get that click to view the website. At that point, capturing someone's email address with a good offer, some sort of incentive, is more critical than ever, because that's now going to be your retargeting tool more than ever. Yeah,
well, and the website itself as well has got to perform as good as it possibly can.
Yes, that's true.
You think about the kind of typical funnel setup in, say, Facebook ads, when you've got your initial awareness, then you've got your kind of retargeting of someone that might maybe liked, maybe shared, maybe visited the site, and then you've got a further level of retargeting that is people that added to cart and recover those kind of stuff. Yeah. That work that is currently being done in the middle and bottom funnel, those people that interacted, you can't rely on that anymore.
No.
So you're absolutely right. You've got to then, those tactics of the offers, of the social proof, have got to then make their way into the top awareness funnel, like you say, or be incredibly present on the website. So you've got to be able to get a certain level of confidence, a reason enough to click through, Not just, oh, that looks interesting. That's just grabbed my attention. I'll click on it. There's going to be a level of confidence that you've got to instill there to get the people onto your website. And then you've got to get the people. You've got to get that message of an offer or further confidence or reviews or something on the website really, really obviously.
Yeah.
And like you say as well, enough to get them to sign up to an email list. And that's when you can start to kind of do the kind of longer nurturing if you can get people there.
Yeah, and I think, again, people can't be as... I'm not saying... there's sort of been a copybook of how you do things before. You have a top, middle, bottom funnel, you have your emails list set up, and then you have welcome flows and all those great things. And people sort of set it all up and then just did. I think people now have to really consider all those stages so much more and make sure that their emails are working and they're being changed. We're all going to really have to learn again what works. And I think that's the key, is the analytics of what we're doing has to increase tenfold, because what used to work as a creative maybe won't anymore. And what used to work as a welcome email flow maybe won't anymore. Yeah. I think that's going to be the biggest learning. I mean, how does, obviously we've referenced Facebook. Do you think it will... I see things like Google search suddenly will have more, maybe in terms of your marketing dollars, if you like, looking at, I think people will have to, if they don't already, we would always recommend you spread your marketing spend elsewhere, because if your Facebook ad account gets banned and that's all you do, then you're in huge trouble. Yeah. I do think it's going to make people actually look at wider sources and make sure you aren't spreading. Maybe the Google Analytics side of Google's platforms will deal with it better than Facebook's. We don't really know. Yeah,
you've got to obviously do as much multi-channel stuff as you can do. Again, the challenge is, and where it's hitting people, is the small businesses who may not have that budget to spread across multiple platforms, because we know that spending little bits here and there doesn't really work. You've got to try and put in as much as you can.
Certainly up front at the beginning of your campaigns.
Yeah, today, as we sit today, or as we said, say last week, because we still don't know how today's going. But months gone by, it literally has been, as long as your product's good and your creatives are good, then the more you spend, the more you sell, to an extent. Yeah. And we've literally seen that with clients, haven't we? They've done a certain amount and it's not really been denting it, and suddenly they've upped their spend, and because the volume and the data and the retargeting starts to really kick in, the sales start to come through.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds. I think the key is reading and learning, because everyone's in the same boat.
Facebook have got a lot of really useful resources, actually, not just about Facebook and about Facebook advertising, but they talk a lot, because they've really openly, quite aggressively spoken about Apple's move. Yeah. They really disagree with it, but they're falling in line with it. Choice. and so that's right. So there's a lot of good reading there that talks about how you can protect yourself, how the resources and other tactics and ways that you can get around it if you're a smaller business.
You kind of wonder what Apple's financial gain or angle is with all of this, because they're are they still the biggest business in the world in terms of revenue?
So I mean,
profit, you can't. Yeah, you wonder. I mean, I can't imagine this is solely a doing the right thing data decision. Is there an Apple social media platform?
They've been quite open about that. Yeah. They have been absolutely quite open that suddenly there are going to be more people that are going to have to go direct to Apple. App developers are going to have to kind of put in advertising that Apple they're sanctioning, because suddenly it's not third parties, so it's got to be within the app. Any advertiser's got to be within the app. Yeah. So from Apple's point of view, the big focus is on the app, but the fallout is the web tracking as well.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be this is something we're probably going to be talking about a lot, because it's so new.
Yeah,
and we read a lot on it.
Yeah,
it's every day there's a new article.
Pretty much every day I read something about it. And again, quite the reality of it is that people still don't quite know. There's been studies that people have said actually there might be a lot of people that opt in. So you might be worrying for nothing. You might just see a small drop. So there are literally different opinions on it. I just think that common sense tells you that, like when LinkedIn used to share your email addresses with your contacts. So you could download a list of all your contacts in an Excel form. A lot of people didn't know this, but you could download a list of all your contacts in Excel form, and it would give you all their email addresses. So you could suddenly email them direct. LinkedIn changed that because of privacy, sharing, all that kind of stuff. And you had to manually go into your account and set for you to share your email address with your contacts, for your contacts to be able to see it. Who's going to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to voluntarily go in and say, yes, everyone see my email address, because we know there's a lot of contacts on LinkedIn that you've never met. You might just have a common contact or something like that. So common sense tells you that a lot of people are going to be opting out of this. And so, yeah, like you say, we're reading and we're supporting wherever we can to try and...
And I guess the only bit we sort of touched on is creative is going to be king now.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah.
Your good creatives will cut through
story, message,
well, I
content.
think, and in the first instance, like I said, people initially probably reliant on top of funnel, early awareness stuff to get that early conversion of a sale. If you're working, if you're selling a product or if you're a charity, in terms of getting people to donate, I think you can't rely on necessarily having 3 or 4 opportunities to show new types of creative. No. Maybe people can have to tell the whole story of the product at the top of funnel, as opposed to getting that, that's interesting, click, I'll have a look, and then layering the story. Yeah. I do think there's going to be a move to longer form ads, actually. I think YouTube could really take advantage of this, and where people are on the difference between obviously the 2 platforms. Facebook, you're not there to be watching videos necessarily. You're there to, Facebook still, and Instagram is still quite picture based. I know there's lots more video content. YouTube, you've gone there to watch a video. Yeah. So if you're presented with a well produced, interesting video that's 3 minutes long before your video you're going to watch, you might sit down and watch it. Yeah. It's not as disruptive or interrupting of the purpose of being there. And I think if you're able to tell your brand story, get the attention with a hook, tell the story in a great way, a good story, beginning, middle and end, you might then find that you've done the job, and then people will go to your website. I think there's going to be a movement. Yeah, because of course the thing about YouTube advertising, so say if you rely on the first 5 seconds, I know there's different formats of advertising you can do on YouTube, but the kind of standard one where it shows you the 5-second clip. Yeah, if you can get the hook in that first 5 seconds of your advert before someone's going onto their video, enough for them to carry on watching, you're right. You can then get in your middle funnel. Here's some social proof. Here's some reviews. Here's the story. And then that bottom funnel, sign up for this offer, in one video. Yeah. And I have watched adverts that are like 5 minutes long on YouTube because the first 5 seconds got me. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. You can suddenly represent that whole 3 levels of advertising, that 3-foot stage funnel in one video. Ad on YouTube. I think the ads, I don't know, like Facebook's, Instagram stories, where it was swipe up to find out more. They were quite interruptive and jarring, which maybe made you think, okay, I'll have a quick look. But now that Facebook pixel maybe isn't then latching on and embedding the cookies and so on, I don't think those ones will work as well anymore. I think people sometimes, the key is, we were saying this, we don't know. So the key all the way along is multiple creatives, different ad sets to different audiences. It's times, if you're not ready to get creative, we don't know what we don't know. Yeah. So layer in different audiences, different types of creatives. Yeah. Make sure your email game is different. A/B tests on your emails. It's going to be everything. Yeah. I mean, I know it's disruptive, but it's kind of exciting too. It's kind of, these things open up new opportunities. Yeah. There's probably some good guys who've got better efforts in terms of their creatives that weren't getting through because they didn't have the budget. So there's some people with better stories will get through. Some people might have not a very good product, but huge budgets. Yeah. They can put bad products in front of people. with money you can sell anything, but actually there's a chance here for better products, people with better stories to cut through.
Yeah.
So
there are some for anyone who is currently doing, Facebook advertising. There are some nuts and bolts as well that people can just immediately go. And like I said, there's a lot of resources on that.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what you mean. You've been doing that for all client accounts, making sure everything that can be done.
Setting up the events. There's a number of events you need to set up. You need to prioritize them. Verifying domains, those kind of things are nuts and bolts. Otherwise, they will stop working.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, they'll stop working.
Yeah.
So that does need to be done. So I'd recommend that to anyone. But like you say, it's going to be really considering that story and creative and test.
Yeah. Great. Good stuff. Well, then that's going to be an ongoing one for sure. Thank you so much for listening to the Journal of a Marketing Agency.
Please rate, like and subscribe and catch up with past and future episodes at playfairmarketing.com.